Hey guys, welcome to the Tech Sector today. Hey guys, welcome to the Tech Sector. Hey guys, welcome to the Tech Sector. Today I'll be rebuilding my budget wall PC. You may have seen it's falling apart a little bit, but that's nothing to be worried about. That's why we're rebuilding it. This is built on an insane budget. It's got a GTX 1050, a i5 3470, 430 watt HP power supply, and a Corsair AIO that hopefully doesn't fall apart. So I built this PC with the intention of staying on a tight budget, and that's exactly what I did. Now that I know it fully works, I've had it running for weeks without any issue, I'm gonna show you guys how to build this from scratch on your own. So I'm gonna tear off all the components and put it all back on. I may have called this PC shitty in the past, but it truly is not. This is probably the best bang for buck PC you could build right now. It is mounted up on, ouch, it's a screw, on a TV wall mount. As you can see, it's on the back. Don't hold anywhere there's protruding screws. Basic wall mount from Amazon. Just gonna go ahead and put this back on. It's held together by double stick tape, as you can see, but we're gonna fix that today so shit won't be falling off the wall anymore. All right guys, so right now we have the GTX 1050 and the motherboard, the power supply, and the AIO bolted straight onto the board. It's not done very well. I really did BS this one. So I'm gonna tear everything off and then I'm gonna put it all back on correctly. So I'm gonna start with the 1050, just normal PCIe riser I use to connect it. And literally it's held on by double stick tape. Like I'm just gonna be able to literally pull this off. Like I said, it's held on by double stick tape. If you have a flathead, you can use that. Well, actually, you guys don't have to be doing any of this because you're building the computer, not disassembling a computer. I use these L brackets with some random screws I had laying around. So I'm just gonna use my drill gun and take them off right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and just pull off the motherboard. Oh wait, first I should disconnect it. So guys, the first thing you're gonna need is a basic piece of wood. I literally walked around my house and I found an old piece of furniture that was taken apart, and this was a piece of wood from it. It's a compressed piece of wood, so it's very cheap to get. If you wanna buy it at Home Depot, 3/4 inch or thicker is perfect. 3/4 inch MDF is also great, and just have them cut it to the size of the components you'll be using. So what I would say is just spread out your components on a general piece of wood or table or whatever you have, and go ahead and measure that out. That's exactly what I did, and it just so happens that this piece of wood fits that. So I didn't even have to buy this piece of wood. This was free to me, but if you did have to buy a piece, it'll be about $5. Now, next thing I did was I put on the wall mount. So I made some lines and I centered it up, and this is the wall mount here. I just bolted it up using the hardware, and it did not poke through the wood at all. So I'm really happy about that. So that way you don't have any protruding screws into your motherboard. Next thing, standoffs. I have 6 simple standoffs and I tapped them straight into this wood, and this is compressed wood, so I was worried about it falling out. So I went ahead and I hot glued each one of them. Once that's in place, I went ahead and just started bolting everything up. So to tap a standoff in is simple. You just get your normal standoff, line it up, tap, 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 make sure you're doing it straight, and then take some hot glue, put it around like I did here for these 6, and you're good to go. All right, so now you got your standoffs, you got your wood, and you got your TV mounting bracket. Now you need your components. This is the old PC here. It's an HP Pro 6300. I scavenged the motherboard and the CPU, which is an i5 3470. I also scavenged the stock HP power supply, which is a 430 watt unit, which is more than enough for what we need, and also this SATA power cable. It also came with a Western Digital hard drive. This is a bit slow though, it's only 5,400 RPM. Now the things we added, 8 gig HyperX Fury, I had this laying around, a PCI riser because you can no longer safely bolt your GPU straight onto the motherboard like you normally would. So we're gonna bolt the GPU straight onto the board. And I had an AIO laying around. This is a Corsair H55, I believe. So now we're just gonna go ahead and bolt everything up. Once you have the standoffs in, you're good to go. One quick thing is that whatever PC you scavenge, if it's an OE PC, kind of like Dell, HP, anything like that, they come with switches to turn it on. So that's something you're definitely gonna have to keep. This one does have the switch and it was very easy to get to. So I'm just gonna attach it into the motherboard real quick. My CPU already has thermal paste on it. Line up your motherboard with your standoffs. Assuming you did them correctly, make sure your CPU cooler bracket is on the back. We went to Home Depot. First thing I need, bracket for the AIO. At Home Depot, the package that we bought had 4 brackets in it. We're only gonna use 2 for the AIO and the other 2 we're gonna use for the GPU. I'm gonna go ahead and reuse some screws for that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and I lost my pen. I've got that there. I'm gonna take one of these new screws. I'm gonna take my drill gun. I'm just gonna screw this into place. I will reuse the double stick tape that I already had. The problem was that before was that the double stick tape was not holding all of the weight of the AIO on. So now with that little bracket in place, it's gonna stop it from falling off of the wall. So this is where things start to get a little bit more complicated. You have an AIO. That means that it has a fan on the radiator and a pump on the CPU block. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reuse the fan header to power the pump. And what I'm also gonna do is I'm gonna reuse another fan header down here for the radiator fan. Now, I got a little bit fancy here and I got a Corsair LED fan. You don't have to do this. This will add like 20, 30 bucks to your build. I'm just gonna leave the wires hanging over this way for when we need to do our wire management. CPU block is on. Time for the GPU. So like I said, I already pre-drilled the holes because I know exactly where it's gonna line up. This is a GTX 1050 super clocked. I picked up one of these used. Normally they're about 120 bucks. I got this one for $90, I think. It was barely used. Like it was used like 2 times. I know the guy that I bought it from. In order to get the GPU on the board and connect it to the PC, we're gonna be using a PCI riser cable. This is a pretty short one, but if you want your GPU farther away, that's fine. You can use a longer one. Just keep in mind that sometimes when you run like 2 of these back to back, they may not work well and things of that sort. So just keep that in mind. So now we got our AIO. Now all we need to do is our hard drive. So the next problem we were having was our hard drive was falling off the wall constantly. So we're gonna be using this bracket right here to keep our hard drive mounted onto the wall. I'm just gonna go ahead and take some double stick tape now and stick it on. An integral part of any build, double stick tape, always. So that, I'm not even joking, that's actually what's holding half of this PC together. Okay, it's kind of insulated now. So I'm just gonna drop my hard drive onto this little bracket. Oh shit, it's really sticky. Onto that bracket thingy right there, hoping that will hold it. Now, oh crap. I put double stick tape on the power supply and then I put it down. So now it's double stick tape to my countertop. Small mistake, I forgot that it was still strong. As you could see, oh, there it is, got it. No worries, we're good. All right, so now placement of the wires on the motherboard. Now, these OE power supplies were made specifically for these small form factor kind of cases. So the wires are extremely short. So you're probably gonna have to remount the power supply somewhere extremely close to the motherboard. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do here. And I'm gonna mount it right below this. So just in case this were to slip, the fan is resting directly on the fan for the power supply. I'm gonna reuse the double stick tape that was on there because I think it's strong enough. And I'm too lazy to cut new ones, so. All right, then you just have to match up the same plugs to where they were plugged in before. So This plugs into here. This plugs into here. And then this one plugs in up here. So I'm just gonna twist this around the CPU block a little bit. Yeah, yo. All right, now I zip tied it here to keep these wires down. The reason why is because if you don't zip tie it right here, the wires just spring straight up out of the power supply. So I just want to make it look a little bit neater. All right, guys, so here we finally have it, the final half of Dark Side, all mounted up, good to go. As you can see, nothing is falling off the board as it was earlier. So now we can just go ahead, drop this onto the wall, and start gaming. All right, guys, so as you can see, we have Battlefield 1 running on the good old trusty Watt PC. The 1050 is holding up just fine. It's using 1.7 gigs out of the 2 gigs of VRAM, which is really good. The CPU is holding up pretty good, decent temps in the mid 40s, and RAM is only at about 6 gigs of usage. So that's really good. We've got 8 on this PC. This is an excellent budget build, great bang for buck.